Davy, good morning.
Hi, Nick, how are things?
Very well. More importantly, how are you doing? And how's life been since your starring role, of course, on Dancing with the Stars?
Very busy, very busy. I'm actually here in Cavan Equestrian now, jumping a few ponies. So I was in America last week trying to buy a few flat yearlings, and we've sales coming up, we've foals to sell, and between mares foaling and kids and the whole lot, it's been quite busy.
All right, what's the nearest thing you've found of all the things you're now doing? Because I know you like to keep yourself doing tons of different things. What's the nearest thing you've found to give you the thrill of riding a racehorse?
Well, I suppose watching my kids anyway is very entertaining. But I find the exhilaration of the sales, buying a horse, rearing him and prepping him, and doing well with a horse, and then seeing him going on to win a few races is always really, really nice. It's kind of my next step. Even if I buy a horse for someone and he goes and does well on the track, that's it's very, very fulfilling.
What's been the most fulfilling story so far?
I suppose Three Stripes Life was a very good horse. And then my son and daughter then riding ponies and being successful. Lily got to the RDS this year, and Finn got to the RDS as well. They're quite young, they're only 9 and 10, both of them. So it's just been busy. We've a lot of sales coming up. We've a lot of horses to sell. We have a very nice horse there that we breezed last year. He's by both Dora Ammo Racing. Bought him. He's a very exciting horse. Patrick Vaughan in partnership with Patrick with a few breeze up horses. So, there's a lot going on.
When we had that long car journey back from Aintree, the day you finally did retire, and then you came on the show the next day, I sensed a man at peace with his decision. Was that the case, or were you putting a brave face on it?
No. I actually feel I think I just hit a sweet spot. I was very happy with everything I'd done. I was speaking to people last night, and do you know what? If I was 16 years of age again, I'd do it all over. I'd do it all over again. I loved every second of it, but I think I reached a point where I was happy to go, and I'd done a lot for my career and for myself, and I went out a proud man.
And it seems that you in the final analysis, and I'm hoping this comes through in the autobiography as well, managed to get the drops of enjoyment out of it, as well as the well-documented bumps in the road along the way.
Yeah, would you believe them? When I came back after my first retiring, it felt like I was riding for free. I was riding on my terms. It was, a couple of months. It was an extremely enjoyable. After I came back from injury, when I broke my neck, them couple of months and years riding were really, really enjoyable. I mean, really enjoyable. They were probably the happiest days I've had as a professional. I had fantastic days as an amateur, but being a professional jockey is very high profile, and there's a lot going on, and probably don't get time to enjoy it as much as you'd like to. But I did enjoy the last couple of years extremely well.
Everybody remembers when you broke your neck, because there were very few people who gave you any shot of getting back into the saddle. And I well remember another appearance on here when I was looking at you thinking, you've got no shot. The guy you couldn't even move your neck 1 millimetre, and you were there saying, yeah, I could be back in 3 or 4 weeks. I'm thinking, this is the ultimate hope over expectation story. What was actually going through your head at that point?
Yeah, but regardless of if I was going to come back or not, I had to convince myself I was coming back to recover, fully recover. I had to give myself an incentive to come back and push on through the pain, push on through all the recovery, all the things you had to do to recover from such an injury. And whether I rode or not wasn't the point of me convincing myself I was coming back. It was to cure the aches and pains that I had, that I was going to encounter from my recovery, and it worked. And when I came back, I was happy I came back.
And it never struck me that you were someone who, at the time, was ever going to admit to regretting any decisions that you made along the way. In the book, do you reflect differently with a little bit of time since you've retired? Do you Do you have many regrets within the covers of this book, or not so much?
No, no regrets, Nick. Never regret. What I've done, and what's won is won, and what's lost is lost, and what's gone is gone forever.
And did you take some sort of satisfaction, some sort of catharsis from writing the book? Did it feel like a good experience to do? You were alongside our own Don McLean doing it.
Yeah, but Don was a very important, well, he's an integral part of the whole thing, and he was brilliant. But I was telling the same stories that I've already lived. So there was at times going back to my youth. When I went back to my youth, that was really nice to relive it again. It was a bit emotional at times, and it was very, very funny at times. So I hope that comes through in the book.
What was not necessarily the hardest, but what part of reliving your life and story touched you the most deeply?
I'd say the Grand Nationals. From what I felt as a child growing up, where I dreamt of being, and then to relive them moments in the book was quite emotional in a happy sense. But it was very emotional reliving the whole thing, and, you know, remembering when I was a child of what I wanted or what I dreamt about, and then to relive that by, you know, doing the audio version of it and writing it on paper.
So your childhood dreams, reliving them through the process of the book, were actually even more vivid than they had been in the immediate aftermath of the Grand National, when everybody can say, yeah, I dreamt of this when I was a kid. You were actually putting yourself into Davy Russell the child.
I was exactly. When I was saying them things after it, it was just because they were in my mind and that's the way I felt, but I was still a jockey and I was still a sportsman and I had a lot to be done. There was a lot of things ahead of me. But when I was finished and I could look back and see and relive it, it was quite emotional for me, yeah.
And when you're going back all the way through your childhood, your adolescence, your career as a jockey, your ups and downs, your personal relationships, when you got to the end of it, who were you most grateful for?
My parents, I think. My parents for giving me the freedom, for giving me all the opportunities. I think my parents played a huge part of it. My agents and, you know, Jigginstown played a huge role in my career, as in I was knocking on the door to be champion jockey when I met.
Oh, that was poorly timed. But I think he might just be back. I think we got you back. Yeah. We just lost you for a few seconds there, Davy. You were just saying when you...
I apologise.
Not at all. You met, obviously, the O'Learys. And how is that documented in the book without giving too much away?
Oh, you'll have to buy it and read it. It's all in there. No, just you know, I put in the inverted commas myself.
So no stone unturned?
Not so much. It's I don't know, is what people imagined it was. It was quite straightforward in ways, and you know, there was different parts of it weren't nice, but that's life as a sports person, as a jockey. You're on the road, and you know, you're under pressure. Weight had a huge wasting, and looking after my weight had a huge part to play in my behaviour. But I don't want to use that as an excuse.
Davy, it's always a pleasure to talk. I wish you all the best with it.
You too, Nick.
And I hope the buying and the selling and all the achievements of your children in the show ring and show jumping continue to give you all the pleasure that you crave.
Thanks, Nick.
It's as if we've been gone forever, but soon it'll feel like we've never been away.